All set.
Okay, I want to introduce the Weineke family, Sarah and her parents. We really appreciate you coming here to Towson University Reading Clinic to tell us about your experience, and hopefully we'll learn from you. So Sarah, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
So we'll get you over with first.
Okay.
Okay, what helped you to improve your reading? Was there anything specifically that was done in Reading Clinic that helped?
Helping like showing different ways how to understand reading and like pick things apart.
Was there anything specific that you can remember that you use now?
Reading things and taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
Spending more time doing things.
Mm-hmm. So doing it slower with more thought. What do you think? I've been so impressed, just to fill in for the people that are watching this. Sarah was in our reading clinic for 3 years and then went on to high school. She was in middle school at the time, and since then has kept in touch with me and told me what her grades were in school, and she's doing amazingly in high school. So tell me a little bit, what do you think made the positive change from what you were doing in middle school to what you were doing in high school?
I actually realized that I had to do good, and it actually became like easy to me, and I liked getting good grades.
But why did it become easy? Because it wasn't easy when you were first here, I remember that. Why did it become easy? I think that's the key, if we can figure that out.
Because I took my time in things and read things more carefully and actually understood them.
And how did you read things more carefully? Can you remember any of the strategies that you learned or anything that you used?
Like picked words apart and like found out what they actually meant to like understand things more.
Okay. When is reading the easiest for you?
When it's on like the computer.
Is it? Why do you think that is?
Because you can see like virtually.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good answer. I think that's really important. A lot of people don't realize how important that is. Is there any subject area that is easiest for you in school?
Probably English.
In English? When you're in the different things that you're reading? Maybe because can you make more connections to that stuff than in other subject areas?
Yes.
Okay. When is reading the most enjoyable for you?
When I'm reading something that I like.
And what are some things that you like?
The beach.
Mm-hmm.
And shopping.
Right.
And things on like different colleges.
Is there any particular websites that you read a lot?
Not really.
Not really, just all around. There isn't something that you check out all the time. No. Okay. How do you think that your English and language arts classes were different in high school than they were in your last school?
In my last school, they were more like just given the work and then not really told you what you're doing. This school, they tell you what you're doing, and the homework is based off of a class lesson.
Mm-hmm. And so what are they doing in your high school that's different?
They're like telling you what you're supposed to be doing, and it's based off of like what you've been learning in school.
Mm-hmm. So it's more of like the way they're telling you to do it and that support they're giving you before. Do you think that might be it?
Yes.
Okay. What are you learning in language arts, English?
Right now we're doing a bunch of things. We have a poem project that we have to do, a reading book project, and we're focusing on rhetoric.
On what?
Rhetoric or...
Rhetoric?
Yeah, that.
Oh, okay.
Rhetoric. And we're focusing on like all the different things about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the book project, do you have a choice of the book? You do.
You have to pick an author and then stick with that author for the whole entire year.
Wow, and you got a choice of the author? Did the teacher give you a list of authors to choose from?
Yes.
And what author did you choose?
Pearl S. Buck.
Oh. Do you remember any of the other authors that were part of that?
It was like 2 pages long.
Oh. Oh, so they're that one. How many would you, if you were just guessing, how many authors do you think were there?
Like 100.
Wow, that is really good. Do you use computers or internet in that class?
Sometimes for different projects.
In the classroom? Do you use it in the classroom?
Well, we go to like a computer lab.
Oh, you go to a computer lab? So you don't have do you have iPads or anything like that in school now? Do you like it when you do that, when you get to go to the computer lab?
Mhm.
Why?
Because it makes it more fun and like enjoyable to do.
That's a perfect answer. What is your favorite part of the class?
I don't know, probably doing the projects.
Was there any particular project that you really liked?
Over the summer we had to do dialectical journals,
Mm-hmm.
and I found them interesting.
And tell me what that was.
We had to make 44 dialectical journals, 4 for each chapter, and like break it down about what the book, like what the chapters were about.
Was it a particular book?
Yeah, it was Frederick Douglass.
Interesting. What is your least favorite part of the class?
When my teacher uses really big college terms that nobody knows.
Does she define them? No? No. Do you use a specific book in the class, or are you using trade books mostly?
We really don't use any books.
That's good. So, like, how does she do the poetry project?
You have to write 4 poems with 25 lines equaling 100 and make a book out of it.
So you're writing the poems. That's great. Do you have any choice of what you read in that class? Obviously, you seem to.
Yeah, with some things.
So there's some things that everybody reads, and there's some things that you have choices with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In what class do you think you have the most problems with the reading of the assignments?
Geometry.
Can you explain why?
Because it's hard to figure out what to do in math in a word problem.
How do you help yourself with that?
By breaking it down and figuring out what each part means.
Does the teacher in the class teach you how to read the word problems? In what classes do you like reading the most?
Probably English and psychology.
Oh, so you're taking psychology. That's great. Tell me why you like that.
Because I like learning about like the body and like about the brain and stuff.
That's great. So how much time do you spend on the computer, do you think, a day?
Like an hour to 2 hours.
What is your favorite thing to do on the computer?
Probably check Edline.
What?
Check Edline.
What is check headline? I don't know that.
It's where all of your grades are.
Oh, I see. So they put up everything? Like every time you have a test, everything goes up there?
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you spend doing it?
Like 20 minutes.
Every day? That's great. Is reading ever a problem for you on the computer?
No.
Can you explain why it isn't?
Because I understand things, and if I don't, I figure out a way to understand them.
Right, there's more choices. What helps you the most to understand the readings required in school?
By breaking them down.
Okay, I think we talked about that. What do you think helps you the most to understand the readings that are required in school? I think I did that twice. The ones that are required in the courses that are harder.
They're a little more difficult, but like once I figure out what the words mean and like what things are meaning, I understand it more and can do it.
How about science and social studies, those kind of classes?
They're easy, and
They're
I
easy?
understand them.
That's great. What kind of writing do you do in your classes about reading?
We really don't do a lot on reading, but we do have critical writing and timed writing that we have to do.
And what is that? Explain it.
You have to like write about a different topic, and you have to do it in 15 minutes.
Do you have to do that in what class?
AP English.
AP English. Do you do much writing in social studies science classes?
Not a lot in them.
No. Do you do any writing in those classes? No.
I do writing in U.S. history, but not so much in chemistry.
What kind of things do you do in U.S. history?
We have to write like different paragraphs on the things we're learning as an exit ticket.
As an exit. But that's the only time you write in that class?
Or, like if we have a worksheet, but mostly yeah.
Yeah. And you don't do very much writing in chemistry at all? How often do you get a chance to read other students' writings?
A lot.
A lot? That's good. And how do you do that?
by following like a paper that says like the things we should be looking for and helping them to make their paper better.
And that's in
AP English.
AP English. And so where do you like to write the most? On paper, on the computer?
Probably on paper and then transfer it over the computer.
Oh, do you? You prefer to do it on paper and then put it on the computer?
Mhm.
That's it. Why, do you think?
Because like I focus more on it, and then when I'm typing it, I realize the mistakes I made.
Okay, is there anything else that you want to tell me? Anything you're thinking about that I didn't ask? No? I think you figured out a lot of ways to help yourself. See if you can think, have there been anything I haven't asked you that maybe you figured out yourself? No? Okay. All right, now we'll see what your parents think. See what they see you doing. Okay, we don't have as many questions for you. What do you think helped Sarah the most to be successful as she has in high school?
I think learning the skills of how to break down reading words in material and comprehension that was taught to her through the Towson Clinic, because that comprehension that she learned and how to break down words to understand definitely went into every subject that she has, making her more able to understand what's going on. And that has built her confidence and built her grades to be better. And I really think it was the way that the reading clinic taught a student how to break down words, how to dissect a chapter, and write down notes and list words that you didn't understand, go back to a dictionary, read them, and then go back and read the chapter without writing anything to see how much better you can understand. And I think really dissecting things has made someone who's had comprehension problems be able to comprehend much better, and that filters through any class that you have.
And it really, some of that has really changed our confidence so much. You can just see that. Because I know when she first came to clinic, we were looking at whether it was motivation or confidence, and I always thought that she was very motivated. I just felt
She always has been motivated, yes.
And it was like she was motivated, but she couldn't figure out how to help herself. Do you think that would be a good way of putting it?
Yes.
I'm not putting words in your mouth?
No, not at all. I would see her taking, little pieces of yellow sticky tabs and putting it on pages where she needed to find out other information. And so I really saw her work at home with the skills that both her and my son had used in the reading clinic.
And I think over the summer, not this past year, but in prior years, when she would have projects to do, reading projects, she would take a notebook with her when she was reading. She would sit in her bedroom and read, and then write notes after each chapter.
They were really good skills to learn, and to put. I mean, there's a key to that, because some people learn the skills but don't necessarily put them into practice, and I think you put them into practice. How do you think? Because one of the questions we asked in the last study was, how did you feel parents were involved in the school that she was in before? How do you feel parents are involved in the school she's in now, and do you think it's more or less than before?
It's probably less than before.
Just
I
because the
think.
nature of the school being so large.
Right.
But it's not that the teachers aren't approachable at the school, but I think a lot of it comes from Sarah. I think if she needed the extra help, that the teachers would be there. If we approached the teachers, or if the teachers saw that she needed extra help, they would be there. But I think a lot of it has to do with her and how far she's come.
And she's confident to handle it on her own.
Pretty much, yes.
How do you think, because I think this is a very important piece to try to figure out, how do you think the school Sarah is in now encourages her to do well? Because there's got to be that element somehow.
For me, based on what Sarah has said, I think she's in 2 or 3 classes where something about her has sparked that teacher to know that Sarah is bound to be a leader in some capacity, and so they have made her a student teacher aide. They have told her she's going to take a lead in one of her financial classes, that she's going to be the lead project manager, so to speak, as they go through a virtual company and hire and fire and, you know, learn all the different things about growing a business. And this year, I mean, that has really sparked, and I think she's in about 2 or 3 classes where she's the leader in whatever group project that they're doing. So I think, you know, they see a good work ethic,
Right.
which she had before the
Right.
clinic, and, you know, built upon that while here in the clinic as well.
Mhm.
I think
I
it all
really
boils
think-
down to the confidence
Mhm.
that she has in herself, that she can read something, understand it, and she has confidence in herself that she knows what it's about when
Mhm.
she reads it.
And I don't think I think she's had great teachers along the way in her life, but I don't think there's ever been, other than the Towson Reading Clinic, really a set of skills to learn in comprehension and how to
Right.
develop that. And that, to me, is the key in everything, whether it's math or science or English or
Mhm.
social studies. If you can't understand, or if you don't understand it, know how to make yourself understand it and have the tools to be able to do that, you know, then you're not going to be able to comprehend in every area. Once you have your comprehension skills down, it enlightens you and helps you in every subject that you have.
Anything else? Okay. What did you learn in Reading Clinic that helped you to support your daughter to do well in high school?
I learned a lot. The skills and everything that were taught to the parents, I thought, I kind of wish I would have done it when I was younger, because it was enlightening, a lot of all the different study skills and breaking things apart and a lot of the little tricks and things like that. I thought it was great, and I think I learned a lot from it. And Sarah would, when she would practice some of those skills and things, it would be like, yeah, you're right, that works.
Yeah. But you knew to recognize what it was.
Yeah.
And it was nice as a parent too, when not engaging your child in you know, any sort of study, to see them utilizing those skills on their own.
Right.
You know, I would catch her with pieces of paper side by side, or looking through a dictionary, or going online to, you know, check something out or whatever. So
Or Post-it
how to
notes in the
break
book.
down words to something that you can understand and build upon, and that sort of thing. I think that was the key thing, because a lot of it multi-directionally was a challenge for Sarah.
Right.
So she has learned to read one sentence at a time and ask or see what they're asking of her before she moves on to. So just taking your time and really breaking things down. And I don't think really she was ever taught those skills. And I think that's invaluable, and I think it should be taught very early on. I really
I
do.
agree with you. When I would analyze the different things with Sarah when she was in clinic, I think she just never learned those skills. They were just assumed that they would know how to do
Right.
that, and that isn't something that you can just
Exactly.
assume.
Exactly.
But that's all the questions I have for you. Is there anything you want to add that I haven't asked?
Now, I just think that the whole program overall was an excellent
Awesome.
program, and for any kid, I think,
Mhm.
or adult. I thought one of the great things about it was that the adults actually went to class while the kids went to class, and I thought that was probably one of the smartest things for the clinic.
That is the key to our clinic, I think. You know, a lot of clinics will just have the kids and not do anything with the
Yeah.
parents. But I always felt like that would be just like a tutoring program. I
Right,
mean, and
right.
we're not a tutoring program.
Right.
It's to make a change. in
Right.
the student.
That's the only thing. I wish so many of the things that I learned, that I guess when I was learning, just seemed to come naturally, that we had known about that earlier on, and then that way we could have, you know, stepped in and helped. But I think it was very invaluable, and I always tell people about how great the program was, because I really think it's a good thing.
That's great. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And it's glad to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.